Live from the sold-out Spectrum, PRISM Sports presents Stanley Cup Playoff Hockey. Tonight, the Philadelphia Flyers against the Colorado Rockies. And I'm Hugh Gannon, along with analyst Ray Schultz, for tonight's game between Philadelphia and Colorado. Dave Newell, who is far from a favorite here in Philadelphia, Raymond. You see Newell in the center, flanked by Claude Bechard on his left and veteran Neil Armstrong on his right. Live from the sold-out Spectrum, PRISM Sports presents Stanley Cup Playoff Hockey. Tonight, the Philadelphia Flyers against the Colorado Rockies. And I'm Hugh Gannon, along with analyst Ray Schultz, for tonight's game between Philadelphia and Colorado. Dave Newell, who is far from a favorite here in Philadelphia, Raymond. You see Newell in the center, flanked by Claude Bechard on his left and veteran Neil Armstrong on his right.
The following film is rated PG and may not be suitable for young audiences.
The following film has been rated G and is suitable for all audiences. The following film has been rated PG and may not be suitable for young audiences.
October 1967, Coach Keith Allen put the first Flyers team on the ice. It was the era of Doug Favell, John Mizik, the Dornhoffers, Kennedys, and the first captain, Lou Angotti. That first team won the divisional title in that season. 16 years later, through playoff and regular season championships, the Spectrum has become one of sport's most famous addresses. And the 16th opening night team under general manager Keith Allen includes these men who have emerged from a 60-man roster at Portland, Maine, where training camp opened 24 days ago. They've gone through an 11-game and 16-night preseason card, have logged 2-a-day workouts both in Maine and in Philadelphia. They've set their sights on the other 20 teams in the National Hockey League with new faces and new zest. These men begin the first of their 80-game schedule tonight, facing the offensively potent Stastny brothers and their teammates from north of the border. From the Spectrum, the Flyers' 16th season, the men of McCammon against the Quebec Nordiques on opening night 1982. All coming up next on PRISM. From the Spectrum, PRISM Sports presents Philadelphia Flyers Hockey. Tonight it's opening night as the Flyers take on the Quebec Nordiques.
Though the Hartford Whalers, off to the best start in their brief 6-year NHL history, provide the opposition, the real excitement tonight comes before the game when the Delaware Valley, in fact all hockey, salutes Bob Clarke upon his official retirement. With the longest sustained and brilliant professional sports career in Philadelphia annals, Clarke joins two other legends, Barry Ashby and Bernie Parent, in permanent Flyer memory when his number is unfurled alongside theirs tonight, high atop the Spectrum. All of that coming up next on PRISM. PRISM Sports presents Philadelphia Flyers Hockey. Tonight, live from the Spectrum, it's Bobby Clarke night as the Flyers meet the Hartford Whalers.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this very special night, the night they retire, sweater number 16. I'm Bobby Taylor, along with Gene Hart and Eddie Van Imp. And gentlemen, so much has been written about that young man's career on the ice that I thought it'd be a little bit of a change of pace for us to talk about Clarkie as a person and what he's meant to us. And Gene, I think I should start with you because you've been here the longest.
You know, I remember early in his career, the first several years, he was always very tight-lipped about bringing up diabetes. And I always thought he was rather hypersensitive.
following film contains material which may not be suitable for young audiences.
The Edmonton Oilers blew into Philadelphia for Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals Tuesday night as the irresistible force against the Philadelphia Flyers, the immovable object. And the Flyers were immovable defensively, but were flashing lightning bolts as well on the attack, testing Oiler goaler Grant Fuhr time and time again until Ilka Sinisalo notched a two-man advantage goal late in period 1, the only score through 2 periods of play, with the Flyers out shooting Edmonton 29-22 going into the final 20 minutes. But before the Oilers could crank up their only offense of the night, Philadelphia's Ron Sutter picked defenseman Paul Coffey's pocket, roared in on the Edmonton goal to score game goal number 2. And 2 minutes later, Tim Kerr converted Dave Pullen's pass to put a lock on the victory. Though Willie Lindstrom stopped goaler Pelle Lindberg's effort to post a playoff record-tying 4th shutout with this goal, with less than 4 minutes remaining in regulation, Dave Pullen applied the coup de grace in the last half minute with an empty net goal. Flyers 4, Edmonton 1. Was it just one of those nights for Edmonton and Wayne Gretzky, or are the Flyers the living proof that great offense can be controlled by great defense? That question again will be answered tonight. PRISM Sports proudly presents the 1985 Stanley Cup Finals. Tonight, live from the Spectrum, Game 2, the defending Stanley Cup champion Edmonton Oilers and the Philadelphia Flyers.
Hi, everybody, once again from the Spectrum, and it's Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Finals. I'm Bobby Taylor, along with the Flyers coach Mike Keenan. And Michael, that first game, I think, has to be probably the closest thing to be.
The Flyers and tonight's Spectrum opponent, the Smythe Division Minnesota North Stars, played with contrasting results in games on home ice this past Thursday. Minnesota had a field night with hapless Detroit, posting an exhilarating 10-1 victory, the team's first of the season. Meanwhile, the Flyers, who had been upset in the home opener by the New Jersey Devils, fired 43 shots at every variety at Quebec goaler Richard Sevigny, but managed to ring the bell just one time, an opening period rebound effort from Murray Craven in the 2-1 loss. Minnesota will be attempting to pick up its first victory at the Spectrum since they beat the Flyers in the final game of the 1978 season. Next on PRISM. PRISM Sports presents Philadelphia Flyers Hockey. Tonight, live from the Spectrum, it's the Flyers and the Minnesota North Stars.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Spectrum for tonight's Flyers game with the Minnesota North Stars. I'm Bobby Taylor, along with the Flyers coach Mike Keenan. And
After a 3-1 Spectrum victory on Sunday, the Flyers went west to the Igloo in Pittsburgh to finish the season series with the Penguins. Chico Resch getting the nod in goal, and although the Flyers would run up a 3-0 lead on goals by Tim Kerr, Mark Howe, and Murray Craven, the Penguins, sensing their last hopes for a playoff berth slipping away, managed to come from behind and gain a 3-all tie. They are a mere shadow of the team that battled the Flyers for the Wales Championship 2 years ago. And like the Penguins, they are battling to hold on to a playoff spot in the Adams division. Le Petit Tigre, Michel Bergeron, currently the oldest active coach in the National Hockey League, has had an injury-riddled season similar to Philadelphia. They lost the first match of the year at the Spectrum on October 6-3 and tied last Saturday at Le Colisée at 2. Always an exciting matchup when they meet. It's the Flyers and the Quebec Nordiques coming up next. PRISM Sports presents Philadelphia Flyers Hockey. Brought to you by Budweiser, Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By your Delaware Valley GMC dealer, not just a truck anymore. By Texaco, super unleaded gasoline with Petrox detergent to help keep your car's power flowing. By Springfield Ford, for those who want the best. By the Belle of Pennsylvania Yellow Pages, we wrote the book. And by your Subaru dealer, where customer satisfaction always comes first.
All films on PRISM, which have been rated by the Motion Picture Association of America, will be shown in their original, uncut theatrical version. Parents are urged to use the same discretion in allowing children to view films on PRISM as they would at the theater. The following film has been rated PG and contains some material which may not be suitable for children.
This your first trip away from home?
Oh, no, I travel all the time.
Where are you off to this time?
Birch Interval. It's near Clayburgh. I love to go places. I think it's very exciting.
Don't you get homesick?
Jesse?
The following is an exclusive presentation of PRISM Sports.
Six games in 16 days, all of them good for 2 points.
6 games of stellar star-robbing work in the crease. 6 games for confidence to re-emerge from injury and doubt. 6 games for fresh combinations to gel. Over the span of 6 games, a power play has become powerful again. The Flyers have gone from the basement and 0 points to the upper reaches and a dozen. It's been 2 years since this team has won 7 in a row. Will 6 straight become 7 straight? National Hockey League Patrick Division scrapping is just seconds away. PRISM Sports presents Philadelphia Flyers hockey. Tonight, the Flyers and the Washington Capitals. You look down on the friendly ice of the Spectrum in Philadelphia, where the Patrick Division action and the Flyers and the Capitals about to begin, but the friendly ice of the Spectrum wasn't that last year. Along with Bill Clement, I'm Mike Emmerich. The record last year was 17-19-4, and this year the Flyers have played here 4 times and they won them all.
And if you combine the fact that the Flyers haven't lost yet at home with the fact that the Washington Capitals haven't won yet on the road, they've played 3 road games and they are winless, the Flyers have to be heavy favorites tonight. Also, they're the only team in the NHL that is getting consistent production from just about every forward on their hockey team. With a win tonight, the Flyers can move into a first-place tie with the New York Rangers. We'll take a look at the Patrick Division standings, and you'll see that the Rangers are on top with 14 points. Flyers only 2 points behind, but this is one of 2 games in hand that the Flyers have on the New York Rangers. The Capitals down there in 4th place with 8 points.
Dino Ciccarelli is not with the Washington Capitals, and he's not going to be for quite a while. Laurie Boschman of the New Jersey Devils slashed him across the hand. Ciccarelli with a broken thumb, and he's out at least until December.
You know, and that is a big problem for the Washington Caps, because the Flyers have been producing, the Caps haven't.
Flyers are 4-0 at home. The Capitals are 0-3-0 away. We'll be right back. Flyers hockey is brought to you by Rolling Rock Beer, from the mountain springs to you, same as it ever was. By your GMC trucking team. By Domino's Pizza. Remember, it's always a good time for Domino's. By the Discover card. It pays to discover the card that pays you back. By Amtrak's Atlantic City Express. It's how the good times roll. By RCA Color Track 2000. Home Theater TV. RCA changing entertainment again. And by Labatt's Blue, the crisp, clean taste of Canada's best beer. Between friends, it's True Blue Labatt's Blue.
PRISM, your total entertainment channel. The following film has been rated PG and contains some material which may not be suitable for children.
The great 2-for-1 channel wants you to see the Phillies live from the vet. Call 1-800-CABLE-90 to order PRISM. You'll get free PRISM installation and we'll send you a free pair of Phillies tickets. PRISM is the only channel on cable TV with great home team sports and blockbuster movies. So call 1-800-CABLE-90 for a pair of Phillies tickets, free installation, and the best lineup on cable TV. Now that's a great deal, but it won't last long, so call now and get PRISM today.
The best titles, the brightest stars, the best variety of movies is on PRISM. Coming soon, you'll see Harrison Ford in Presumed Innocent, Julia Roberts in Flatliners, Mickey Rourke and Anthony Hopkins in Desperate Hours, Meryl Streep in Postcards from the Edge, and an all-star cast in Memphis Belle. From box office blockbusters to critically acclaimed thrillers, Hollywood's finest are on PRISM. It's the only channel you need for the best variety of movies on cable TV. There's a touch of evil in the air this September on PRISM. George C. Scott battles demonic killers in The Exorcist 3. A classic tale of horror takes a turn for the wicked in House of Usher. Julia Roberts and Kiefer Sutherland challenge the dark forces of death in Flatliners. And Alan Alda becomes the victim of black magic in the Mephisto Waltz. It's a fiendishly entertaining assortment of movies, only on PRISM, the channel with the best variety of movies on cable TV. Hollywood movies, home team sports, a combination you can only find on PRISM. It's movies like Presumed Innocent, Flatliners, Postcards from the Edge, Memphis Belle, The Witches, and Desperate Hours. It's exclusive Phillies games against the Reds, Expos, and Pirates. It's exclusive Canada Cup hockey coverage and exclusive Flyers preseason action. It's more than a movie channel. It's more than a sports channel. It's PRISM this September. It's the only channel you need for the best entertainment on cable TV. The following is an exclusive presentation of PRISM Sports.
Thursday, last year's top defense at Boston prevailed 4-1, allowing the Flyers a lone 5-on-3 power play goal. Last night at the Meadowlands, Pat Murray's first NHL goal under the crossbar in the first period tied the game with the Devils. The power play marker kept the game even until the third period when Peter Stastny and Claude Lemieux teamed up to break the deadlock. The Devils won 3-1. Tonight, it's home. The Flyers face another team trying to bounce back from a playoff miss of a year ago and one of the best players in the world. Steve Yzerman and the Red Wings take on the Flyers tonight on PRISM. PRISM Sports presents Philadelphia Flyers hockey. Tonight, the Flyers host the Detroit Red Wings. The Spectrum, corner of Broad and Patterson Streets in Philadelphia, where tonight the Flyers open their 24th home season, schedule of 40 games, taking on the On the air and in print, he was famous in Philadelphia even before he walked to the Spectrum ice for the first time. Eric Lindros, a big man who plays big and tough, but a youth of only 19 whose skills make him seem much older. A complete hockey package who can make plays that light up the goal lantern and can make plays that light up a crowd. 88 comes to Hershey.
Quebec? Nope. New York? Sorry. Chicago? Not. The rest of the NHL? Forget it. They all tried, but they couldn't get him. Eric Lindros belongs to the Flyers. It's the biggest signing in Philadelphia since the Declaration of Independence. And if you want to see the player everyone in the NHL wanted in 50 games you can't see anywhere else on TV, you need PRISM. Make a declaration of your own. Sign up for PRISM today.
He's a big, tough, mean kid. He's got a backbone you could pull a Jeep with. He's like a linebacker out there. He can go right over you if he wants. You can't help but be physically intimidated by him. He's a Charles Barkley on skates. He's as complete a player as you could look for. He's going to have an impact on the game. He'll be a franchise player. He's more dominating than Gretzky or Lemieux. He's an outstanding young man on and off the ice. He's the next great one coming. Eric Lindros. Watch him in 50 exclusive games this season on PRISM, the channel with the most Flyers games on.
Two teams who have been to battle before on the ice. Two teams who have been to battle before in hearings. Two teams who began the year differently. One considered an underdog because of renovation. The other a favorite because of talent depth. But tonight the underdog is on a winning streak, the much heralded team on a losing streak. One team got knocked out of the running last night. The other could follow tonight. Two teams who have been to battle before do so for the last time until fall. You know, it's not often that you make fun of a team that's above you in the standings. But by the end of tonight, these two teams, the Rangers and Flyers, could be even. And what's more, the Rangers are so much fun to pick on. It's been since 1940 that they won a Stanley Cup. Good evening, everybody. Along with Gary Dornhofer, who was involved in eliminating the Rangers in 1974, I'm Mike Emmerich. Tonight, the Flyers take on the Rangers, and I think the one thing that's promising for the Flyers as this season reaches the end is the fact that not only have they won 5 in a row, but Eric Lindros has emerged as the leader on and off the ice of this club and a powerful guy to lead by example out there. That's what they'd hoped all along. And then have the start of our game between the Flyers and the Rangers in just a moment.
Tonight's game is brought to you by Miller Lite, with smooth, refreshing taste that's less filling. It's everything you want a beer to be. By your local McDonald's restaurants. What you want is what you get at McDonald's today. By the Discover card. It pays to discover the card that pays you back. By the Bell of Pennsylvania Yellow Pages. No other book can match it, a Bell Atlantic company. And in part by the Pennsylvania Lottery. Lottery proceeds benefit older Pennsylvanians. By Holman Lincoln Mercury, home of quality sales and service. By RCA Color Track 2000, home theater TV. RCA, changing entertainment again. And by Jiffy Lube, America's favorite oil change.
This is usually the spot we tell you when the next Flyers game is. There are no more home games. The regular season home portion has ended. And so with that, a lot of people have done an awful lot of hard work all year long to bring you Flyers hockey. Bob Ayers, Frank DeVincentis, Sean Alexiak, our studio producer, as well as Joe Stazak and a host of others. You'll see all their names. We're going to see you all.
This October on Baby Boomer Theater, Charles Bronson caps a busy box office year in Breakheart Pass. Burt Lancaster and Kirk Douglas confront election year Cold War fears in 7 Days in May. Paul Newman breaks into superstardom in The Hustler, and Robert De Niro teams with director Martin Scorsese in Taxi Driver. Movies that matter, movies that made a difference. Baby Boomer Theater, this October on PRISM. We make you feel good about movies again.
Victim's name is Cheryl Putnam. Her body was dumped upriver late last night. Whoever killed her hung on to her for a while before he mailed her.
How do you know?
I used to be a homicide detective.
Here we go. And stand by. Roll sound, please. Roll sound. Remember, everybody, we're going fast. Action!
Willis is on the trail of a serial killer in Columbia Pictures' new action drama, Striking Distance.
The movie's about a police officer in Pittsburgh who makes a choice between loyalty and honor.
I met upstairs. Let me rephrase it.
When you're in that situation and you only have a second to make that choice, what choice would you make?
Willis plays Tom Hardy, a fifth-generation Pittsburgh cop who works closely with his father.
My character draws a lot of his strength from his father.
So how come you don't have a date tonight?
You're my date. I didn't want you to be lonely.
They have an extremely close, tight relationship. Tom idolizes his father, Vince, but at the same time, they're also very, very good friends.
But when the serial killer suddenly destroys that relationship, Hardy turns the investigation into a personal crusade.
All the women were stunned with police issued tasers. 2 of the women were called from police call boxes.
He's against the grain. He believes that the murderer is a Pittsburgh police officer. And being a member of the force, that's a very unpopular belief.
Refusing to back down, Hardy is kicked off the case and demoted to River Rescue Patrol.
He's been busted down and humiliated, and now they say, here, go work with this girl.
Tom Hardy, Joe Chrisman, your new partner.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
She is the rescue part of the River Rescue. She is a paramedic and a police officer. And she's the type of person who's not been exposed to it.
I never had a woman partner before.
Neither have I. He's very reticent to have a new partner. Hey! He's a bit of a loose cannon.
Okay, get there, that's it. Who told you to lie?
Hardy! Put up your gun! She finds herself in a compromising position where she has that question of honor versus duty and loyalty, and when do you sacrifice those things?
I wasn't gonna shoot him! What are you gonna do, Hardy? You're about to talk! I'm trying to solve a murder here!
What murder?
Against her better judgment, she joins Hardy in his relentless pursuit of the serial killer.
We're in pursuit of a murder suspect who may be armed and dangerous.
But the killer stays one step ahead. As he drags Hardy deeper into his deadly game.
Janet!
You knew her. She is not supposed to become emotionally involved in any way, but I think that she grows to truly care about him.
Thank you.
No, I should definitely be thanking you.
You know, I just thought of a way that I could probably thank you.
It was not a murder.
All the women in my life keep turning up dead.
You're scaring me.
It's scaring me, too.
The killer is someone who knows him very well. And when you know somebody very well, you know how to get to those buttons that not everyone else would necessarily know where to look for.
He killed those girls in '91. He killed my father. And now he's picking women out of my life and killing them right in front of me and putting them in the river so I'll find them.
Now, with the evidence mounting against him,
the tip checked out. Hardy went to high school with a Cabrisi date.
Hardy's time is running out.
Where is she? What are you talking? Where's the girl? I know everything.
And the killer is closing in.
Stop now!
The killer is taunting him, and this is the guy who killed his father. So he will not stop until he gets this guy.
Striking distance.
A young clergyman recruited to run a home for fallen women becomes the unwilling recipient of their affection in The Missionary. Monty Python's Michael Palin and Oscar winner Maggie Smith star in an outrageous comedy. Next on PRISM.
In a time when the leaders of the church were as powerful as gods,
you are presuming to defy the judgment of the Holy Father.
He seduced a queen and commanded a crew of murderers and thieves. How does a pardoned convict get the rest of his money on the most dangerous journey ever undertaken? Christopher Columbus, The Discovery. Charles Brady is new in town.
You can actually talk to him? Yeah, he's nice. Real nice.
The girls all like him. The teachers all respect him.
Your teachers in Ohio must have been sorry to lose such a creative young man.
The parents all trust him.
He's
utterly charming. But nobody really knows him like his mother.
You cannot be in love with this girl, Charles.
You don't know me, Tanya.
But I want to.
Behind their smile is a secret.
Hi. Come in, Tanya. I have something for you.
I don't know who you are, but I know you're not who you say you are.
Behind the secret is a hunger.
Does it have to be her?
Starving, Charles. I need it. You have to get it for me.
And behind it all is the imagination of Stephen King.
Somebody help me, please.
He killed one of my men.
He was scared of a cat.
Stephen King's Sleepwalkers.
Stay tuned for 90 minutes of outrageously awesome fun when the youngest generation takes over the PRISM airwaves. It's PRISM Kids, a brand new feature where kids rule. Next on PRISM.
My brother Paul and I grew up in a time when the land was still untouched.
Montana, there are three things we're never late for: church, work, and fishing.
It was a world of wonder and possibility.
I'm in love with Jessie Burns. With all the fish in the river. I'm not like her.
But it was a tough world, too.
In life and in love. All memories become one. And a river runs through it. From Academy Award-winning director Robert Redford comes the classic story of an American family.
This October on Superstars Sunday, Steven Seagal and Tommy Lee Jones battle for a destroyer in Under Siege. Matthew Modine and Jennifer Grey head for the high seas in Winds. Bridget Fonda and Matt Dillon play the Seattle scene in Singles. Kurt Russell and Madeline Stowe struggle against unlawful entry. And Marlon Brando stars in Christopher Columbus: The Discovery. Superstars Sunday, the brightest stars of today and tomorrow. This October on the new PRISM. Sunday nights will never be the same.
The only thing better than winning something
You've been dreaming about doing this since you were a little kid.
is losing it.
Yeah, well, you haven't got it.
And winning it back. They were four very different people who shared an incredible dream.
You guys will work on the hull, we'll work on the sail. Have you ever seen one of these 12 meters cut through the water? It's powertrain motion.
What do your numbers tell you about a world that's totally wild and unpredictable?
I like to think of myself as a member of this team.
Stop talking like you're the only one taking any risks here.
You become the best only by going against the best.
The director of The Black Stallion and Never Cry Wolf, invites you to share an extraordinary adventure. Matthew Modine, Jennifer Grey. Wind.
Steven Seagal, Bridget Fonda, Dustin Hoffman, Robert De Niro, Anthony Hopkins, Clint Eastwood, Whitney Houston, Kevin Costner, Kurt Russell, Gina Davis, Jeremy Irons, Marlon Brando. Just a few of the superstars who hang out at PRISM on a regular basis. We must be doing something right. PRISM.
First, there was one Liberty Place. Then they finished its companion, and the Philadelphia skyline seemed set. But the Sixers wanted a high-rise of their own. Meet Philadelphia's newest skyscraper, 7-6 center Sean Bradley. How well can the city's tallest structure play? Find out this season on PRISM, in exclusive games you won't see anywhere else on TV. Don't miss a true giant taking his first steps in the NBA. Watch the season unfold right here on PRISM, the home court home of Sean Bradley and the Sixers.
Attention, parents and/or other adults. Do not attempt to adjust your sets because for the next 90 minutes, PRISM is in the hands of your kids. It's time for PRISM Kids! Hey!
Order PRISM, and you'll end up with the face of an NHL player. Get this original limited edition Eric Lindros t-shirt and a free month of PRISM. Better call now, because you can't get a face like this every day. This is an exclusive limited time offer available only when you subscribe. To order PRISM, call 1-800-CABLE.
In the beginning, there was hope and a new regime poised to take the Flyers toward the postseason. They scored goals. Their offense was the league's most productive. They won. But nothing is forever. Adversity dealt a crippling blow. With injury came inconsistency. The good turned bad and ugly. In the end, there is the reality. The Flyers are not playoff bound. Tonight, the final home salvo next.
Chris Terreri eyeing the Flyers up and down, and why not? He's the winningest active goaltender against the Flyers in the game today. 16-3-3, a perfect 4-0 this season. The Devils put that undefeated streak against Philadelphia on the line here at the Spectrum tonight. Good evening, all. I'm Ken Adelberger. It was a year that started out very optimistic. The Flyers won 11 of their first 14, averaging over 4 goals a game. They won close ones. They blew other teams away. They led from wire to wire, and they came from behind to victory. It certainly appeared this would be the season that they ended their streak of no postseason play. In December, though, they lost 7 of 9, and in late January and early February, they lost 6 straight. The goals for began to dwindle. The goals against ballooned, and the Flyers simply could not recover. This is usually the time that we tell you when the next Flyers matchup is. Well, we don't mean to be smart, but that won't be until October. There will be an off-season of questions and moves. A lot to be done in the off-season for the Flyers to prepare for next season and what we hope will be indeed a postseason, a season that will include some postseason. Special thanks want to be passed along tonight to Bob Ayers. As Gene and Gary mentioned, he's hanging up his stopwatch. Bob Ayers moving up the corporate ladder, taking another position with the company. He looks kind of funny in a coat and tie. It's his daily attire now, but we do wish Bob all the best. He is our leader around here, and well, we hope that we can certainly come up with a product much like next year that he put out this year. Thanks again, Bob, for all you've done. And we salute to all the others who have work so diligently all year long on Flyers hockey and bringing it to your living rooms here on PRISM. Once again, the final 4-2, the Flyers over the Devils. Take time out to take a look at the names. We thank them all. We'll see you all again next hockey season.
You just seen some of the defining moments here in the 94-95 Flyers season. They are playoff-bound Atlantic Division champs, but they have business here to do. It's the Ottawa Senators and the Philadelphia.
An intense and fiercely fought grudge match for 30 years, a head-to-head confrontation charged with emotion. Eric Lindros will pay for his indiscretions tonight. His suspension may add fuel to the fire. Then again, it doesn't take much when the Flyers and the Rangers hit the ice. Despite their differences, they're similar in many ways, both armed with highly skilled sharpshooters, with defensemen that are downright offensive, and goaltending that's undeniably consistent at denying others. They are so close yet so far apart. The only thing they agree on is to disagree.
Welcome everyone inside the Coors State Center, where tonight the final regular season battle of Atlantic Division heavyweights is about to get underway. The Flyers host the New York Rangers. And welcome everyone.